start in Nanuet. The Golden Knights in Pearl River in the annual Little Brown Jug game. An emotional day. Andy and Leon Nazai holding up their brother Alton's jersey prior to the coin toss. The Pearl River senior losing his life last week in a car accident. A moment of silence would follow after that. Pirates would get on the board in the first quarter. Matthew Daly throws it up for Logan Flaherty. Pearl River was within one. Nanuet, though, would have an answer all game. Justin Houghton gets the pass here, and he races into the end zone. Golden Knights led 14-6. Pirates respond. Daly looking downfield connects with Matthew Penamon. A 25-yard strike. The extra point was no good, so the deficit was 2. Move to the third. Pearl River threatening again. Liam Fitzpatrick powers his way in. Pirates battled, but it would be Nanuet's day. Houghton was a force. The senior rushed for 133 yards and 4 touchdowns. Nanuet retains the Little Brown Jug, winning 34-19. Afterwards, the entire Pearl River team showing a lot of class, heading to the stands to embrace the Nazai family.
This doesn't change how we feel about them and how proud we are and how they represented Pearl River and handled themselves like men all week.
It's my last jug. I'm a senior, obviously. My mind was set since last night, since earlier in the week, but I was just preparing for this moment. It's a biggest stage.
And we welcome you into another edition of the News 12 Sports Rush. I'm Pete Ruff. It's been a difficult week in the Pearl River community. You have to give those players a ton of credit performing the way they did on Saturday. You also have to take your hat off to the Nanuet players and their fans standing by their rivals during this tough time. We now welcome in Mr. Andrew Rappaport. Andrew, I was at the game. Very emotional. You know, obviously Pearl River wanted to win real bad. Yeah. But I just give the guys so much credit just for what they went through all week to get out there and perform the way they did.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough thing for that whole community to have to go through, right? The car flipped over and the fact that they played the game, because a lot of times, you know, it's a situation where they say, listen,
right,
it's too much for us to go through. We're going to skip the week, whatever it is.
Yep.
But they didn't. They rallied together and they were able to pull through and play, not the result they wanted, but the fact that they got on the field and two communities, not just one, two communities coming together to support that awesome cause, it shows a lot.
And the family to go to the game?
Yeah.
I mean, God bless them.
Absolutely.
God bless them to be there.
Tough situation, but good job by all.
It definitely was. But, you know, the playoffs, the postseason, it began this week, believe it or not, in Class A. And we'll start with the top seed, John Jay Cross River, the only unbeaten team left in the class. This was a rematch of last week's game, taking on Beacon. Jay wasted no time getting on the board. First offensive play, Nick Giardina throws it up for Luke Mercer. The play covers 51 yards. Just like that, John Jay led 6-zip. Next series, Mercer in a QB now hits Ian Gallagher. The senior breaks the tackle, finds some space, and rumbles 40 yards to the end zone. Mercer and Giardino combined for over 200 yards passing and 4 touchdowns.
That was a rumble.
That was. John Jay cruises past Beacon, winning 33-6. Well, it was a pink out at Somers. Students helping raise awareness of breast cancer. The number 2 Tuskers taking on Tappan Zee. This was all the home team. Jackson Casau finds Jack Kaiser. How many times have we seen a run like this?
And how many times I feel like we've said Jack Kaiser's name on the show that, you know, maybe he should be sitting here next to us.
Every week. Junior goes 30 yards, gets down to the 15. Next play, Casau rolls out and hits Charlie Valencia. He goes in with his second touchdown of the night. Meanwhile, Mr. Kaiser again. He kept doing what he does best. Junior rushed for 194 yards on 8 carries. That's a pretty nice average, huh?
Absolutely.
But finds the end zone twice in the game. Somers advances, winning 56-12.
All right, here we go. Harrison and Rye, part 2. They do it again and again. First quarter, Declan Lavelle to Quinn Kelly, 34 yards, 7-0 Garnets. Second quarter, Lavelle, this time to James Mackel. Did I say it right?
You got it.
This one is good for 30 yards and another Garnet touchdown. Rye solid on both sides of the ball. I feel like we said that last week too. Macco can catch, he can tackle, picks up the sack. Rye takes down his rival again, 21-7. So they didn't listen to me. I said last week that they had to go out and do something about it.
They had to go on the road. Actually, this game was close. This game was a little closer, so that they played better on the road. Give them some credit. But if you look at Class A, the top 3 seeds advance, fairly easy. They move on.
Yeah.
So next week, AA comes into play and B comes into play.
If Somers wins the whole shebang, okay?
That's a big if.
If Somers wins the whole thing, we're going to get our buddy,
Mr. Kaiser.
Mr. Kaiser, and I want him to sit right here in between us for a show. Okay? How's that?
I'll do my best.
All right. There you go. It's on the table. Win the state title, Somers, and he's here.
He's in. All right. Let's go. All right, let's stay in Class A. Top 3 are in. Let's move on. Next, Yorktown
taking on Hen Hud. The Sailors' Ellis Braden back to pass, not for long. Alex DeBenedictis with the sack. In soon possession, Trevon Johnson to Ben Robinson, mixing up the names. Mr. Robinson goes in for the 13-yard touchdown. It's 14-0 home team. The defense was relentless all night, allowing just 6 points. Meanwhile, the offense doing it through the air and on the ground. Johnson, boom, boom, boom. From 7 yards out into the end zone. Huskers roll 40-6. How about Lakeland and Fox Lane? The Fox's defense stepped up in a big-time way in this one. They pitch a shutout on the road.
That's pretty impressive.
Meanwhile, the offense would do its part. Michael Washington, Fox Lane upends Lakeland 20. Here we go.
There he goes.
To nothing.
Into the end zone. All right, how about we switch to Catholic League action? Archbishop Stepanak and Cardinal Hayes, second quarter, Joey Carino to Kevin McKenna. Both guys are from Somers. Imagine if they were on Somers this year. Stepanak led by 4 at the break. Crusaders extend their lead in the third. Kyle Benjamin up the middle. The big fella rumbling 68 yards.
Stepanak like 5 yards. Yeah.
Stepanak looking pretty good. But Hayes came back. Fourth quarter, Crusaders down 1. Carino with the QB keeper. The 2-point conversion made it a 7-point advantage. But Hayes comes back again. Crusaders down 1, 5 seconds to play. Enter Edna Kirby, and Kirby from 31 yards out nails it. The game winner. Stepanak stuns Hayes in the final seconds, winning 28-26.
What was going through your mind before you took the kick?
Just to keep calm, to know that you need to run on the field like you're gonna make the kick, and you gotta believe in yourself that you're gonna make it to make it.
I don't care how long of a field goal it is. It could be 31, it could be 21, whatever it is. When you have to kick, and you're a high school kid, and you have to kick that to win a game, that's a lot of pressure. You can practice 100 field goals a day, but when you line up to kick a game winner with no time on the clock, that's not easy.
And it's not like they did it against an easy team. Obviously, Cardinal Hayes is going to, they're going to be up for a running of the Catholic League Championship this year.
Yeah.
And they have a great rivalry. It's similar to Iona Prep and Stepanak.
Sure.
But really, and how both teams, it was just such a good heavyweight boxing match where they kept coming back, right. And nobody was going to get knocked down. And the clock ran out. Luckily for Hayes, or luckily for Stepanak, that Hayes didn't get the ball back.
Yeah, I mean but that's just like such an emotional toll too. It's like, all right, you get the field goal.
Yeah, and now you're moving on to another.
It shows how important a kicker is, right?
I think so.
Because a lot of schools, I've seen schools that don't even try to attempt extra points. They'll just go for 2 a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So to have a kicker to kick an extra point was one thing. Like we said, to kick a 31-yard field goal, to do that. The only thing more pressure is if that would have won him a championship.
Right.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yep.
Kind of like Scott Norwood trying to kick the Bills to a championship.
Well, that was a long time ago. I suppose you remember that. You're a young guy, but that's pretty impressive.
As these guys.
No.
These guys don't even know who Scott Norwood is.
No. No.
1990 Super Bowl guys. A little history lesson. Giants win the Super Bowl. I'm a Bills fan. Giants win the Super Bowl when Scott Norwood misses the field goal wide right. Go watch it. You'll see. So there's a lot of pressure on kickers.
Put it on YouTube. But yeah, so they look good. Now next week. week, AA, Class A and B playoffs kick into gear. Check this out.
Yep.
The AA top seed, New Rochelle, unbeaten, defending section champs. Class A, John Jay Cross River, unbeaten, defending section champs. Class B, Ardsley, unbeaten, defending section class champs. Pretty kind of like deja vu all over again here.
And New Rochelle's not going to lose.
They're probably not. They got to play Arlington next week. They got to take on Arlington, so the Admirals are going to head down to lower Westchester to battle the Huguenots. Cross River takes on Lords. They played them earlier this year.
Okay.
Lords had an upset win, by the way, at Nyack this weekend. So that was a nice win for them. Nyack had just lost to Somers, so a good win for Lords to go on the road and do that. And Ardsley will take on Pleasantville. They should, I think all three teams should be pretty good this week.
All right, we're going to check back to this tape next week after the scores, and if you're wrong, I'm going to rewind the tapes.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. But all right, Andrew, when we come back, I sit down with Archbishop Stepinac basketball star Adrian Griffin Jr. and talk college recruiting. Plus, we'll tell you why Monroe College is a national powerhouse when it comes to JUCO soccer. The News 12 Sports Rush continues after this. Welcome back. 20 years ago, Peekskill's Elton Brand was the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft, chosen by the Chicago Bulls. Coming out of high school, Brand was sought after by all the major colleges, eventually choosing Duke University. Through the years, the Hudson Valley has had its share of talented basketball players, some going to Division I. But it now appears there may be a second coming of Brand. His name, Adrian Griffin Jr. of Archbishop Stepinac. I sat down with the five-star guard to talk recruiting and his highly talented family. Who are some of the schools that are piquing your interest as we speak?
Right now, I say like Duke, Kentucky, Michigan. These are off the top of my head, so like I don't know all of them, but those are like one of the few that like know that I have a lot of potential in my game, want to coach me, and just like I guess just see how far I can really take my game, and just they always tell me to keep working. So
those are some big schools.
Yeah. So,
you're a young guy.
Yeah.
You're only a junior here at Stepinac. What's it like being in your shoes?
Well, I've just been working out for it like my whole life. I knew one day it would come if I just kept on working. And I always stay humble, and I always stay true to myself, because that's the only way I know. And I just want to have fun with it at the same time.
I was at Nick's practice not too long ago, and Coach Calipari was there before he came over here to offer you a scholarship. What was it like when you met him? Obviously, because Kentucky's probably premier program like Duke.
Yeah, that was an amazing experience, just to meet him in person too, and just to have that conversation, have him tell me that he wants me and wants to coach me. That's a wonderful feeling.
Now, you're fortunate that you have siblings that have been in your shoes. Your brother's at Illinois, your sister's in her first year at UConn. Do you reach out? Do you talk to them a little bit? Because they went through what you're going through now.
Yeah, I always talk to them like every day, just checking up on them, asking them how the college experience is, because all they tell me is that it's a lot of hard work, but you get used to it, and that as long as you work hard, you'll like fit into a spot.
What's the most important thing for you when you decide on the school that you want to go to?
Just having a background of like a great support group, and like a feeling of the environment of like feeling like home, and just knowing that I fit in that place, and just that I'll have like a great time there. And if I'm ever down, have one of those days, they'll be there to like pick me up.
How has Stepinac maybe helped you prepare for the next steps that you're going to make?
Well, they prepared me academically and physically, like in sports. Just how like they always push me every day, and that like I can't stay comfortable. They make me uncomfortable. You want to be uncomfortable being, so like I guess that every day just walking into school, I know that I have to stay focused and focus on my goals, and like I have to know like every day I have to work hard. So.
Obviously, your brother's very talented, your sister's talented, your father might be the most talented in the whole family, being an NBA player. Now he's an assistant coach for the Toronto Raptors.
That's it. There's a new NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada.
Can you kind of tell me about what was the experience like last year following your dad and then seeing the ultimate goal being won?
You know, just seeing all his hard work, all like throughout the years, just seeing him pay off. Like, it was a really great moment because watching him from like day one, just putting in the work, knowing that like hours and hours of hard work, like coming home late and stuff like that.
Who's the best basketball player in the family? That's probably $1 million question.
I say me. So I'm always gonna say me.
Aubrey always told me it was her.
Yeah.
Well, any way you look at it, a lot of talent in that family. This past weekend, Adrian visited Duke. He's expected to decide on a college after his junior season is completed. Well, folks, check out the newly renovated Hines Athletic Center at Iona College. The arena just went through a multi-million-dollar facelift, and this past weekend, we got a chance to look at it. The seating capacity is similar to the old one, but that's about it. Fans can now view a game from all sides of the court. Scoreboards can be found along the walls, and new displays have been put in each corner. To top it all off, there's a brand new floor.
It's such an upgrade for fans coming in to support our teams. Seating on all four sides of the court, a dedicated student section now, a dedicated band platform. So it really changes what we're able to offer our students, student athletes, coaches, fans on so many levels.
Certainly is a great arena. All right, well, we've told you about the Monroe College football team and how it's among the best in the junior college ranks. Well, the Mustangs' other football program takes it even further than that, like to the top. Our Gino Ganello has more on the soccer powerhouse from New Rochelle.
Monroe College in New Rochelle now has the top-ranked team in both men's and women's soccer.
Mustangs on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Mustangs! And while the program has been very successful recently, just over 10 years ago, things were completely different.
When I got here, I had a meeting of the soccer team. There were 6 kids in the room, right? So we built this from scratch. There was no such thing as a women's program at Monroe when I got here, so I had the idea, hey, we should start a women's program.
Now, the women are defending national champions, and it's showing through the players on the field.
I think now that dynamic that we have at Monroe College is very, very, very superb. These girls are professionals, like the way they carry themselves, which makes my job a little easier to coach them.
Mercer, now go! Mercer, go!
But even though playing well on the field is important, the key in the end is teamwork, and everyone involved knows that.
Definitely it has to do with working together. Like, we kind of struggled with that at first, but I think we're finding our way as a team now.
The key of the success is always work as a team, help each other, no matter what's happening and what's going on. We just got to work as a team.
And while the women have been ranked #1 the entire year, the men have just regained their top-ranked status. But even with the target on their back, they're calm, cool, and collected.
We know that they're going to come after us. We saw it last game, a lot of pressing from the opposition. But we play calm and we keep the ball moving good. We all know that technically we can play under any pressure. So we just keep playing our game and it's working for us at the moment.
But being #1 now isn't important. It's about being on top at the end.
At the end of the day, we want to be ranked #1 in the country come Thanksgiving, and that means we finish national champions.
As the season progresses, the road gets tougher for both of these teams, with districts, regionals, and nationals. But if they're lucky, they'll both be holding the national championship trophy at the end of this year. From New Rochelle, Gino Ganello, Sports Rush.
All right, thank you, Gino. Both teams will enter the postseason unbeaten. All right, when we come back, Andrew rejoins me and we'll talk high school soccer. We'll show you why the Pleasantville Lady Panthers are ready to make a run for a section title. You're watching the News 12 Sports Rush. All right, well, the football playoffs are here, as is the soccer postseason. Pleasantville girls looking to take it one step further this season. And Andrew, it's playoff time when the blankets come out. A little chilly.
And I have to start wearing long sleeves. That's when I know it's cold.
There you go. Panthers finishing up regular season against Valhalla here. They've had a great year. Lexi Ripstein there with the Nice goal. Peeville scoring all kinds of goals. Allison Portera from about 30 yards out finds the net. Pleasantville finishes their regular season strong, picking up its 10th shutout. Peeville, a section finalist last year, hoping to bring home a plaque in Class B in a couple weeks. We'll see what happens. So soccer's here. Playoffs. The playoffs are just rolling in all the sports now in the fall.
I know we made a joke about my long sleeves, but you know what? It's supposed to be cold in the playoffs.
I know.
It's supposed to be cold.
It's been pretty warm in September, so now you get used to it.
Absolutely. I mean, especially football playoffs. I mean, football playoff weather is cold.
When you have to go up to Middletown or Kingston for the state quarters and the semis, and
get your sleeves, get your hat.
It's snowing up there too.
Now?
We will be in a couple weeks.
Oh, I thought you said now. I said I missed that weather report.
Well, we have to mention congratulations to New Rochelle football head coach Lou DiRienzo and Beth Wooters, the Ursuline women's basketball coach. They both were inducted into the Westchester County Sports Hall of Fame this past week. So congratulations, well deserved. Both are so dedicated to their coaching duties and their schools, and it's great. It's great, well deserved.
Congratulations from the Sports Rush.
Yep. All right, folks, that's it for Andrew Rappaport. I'm Pete Ruff. We'll see you next week on the Sports Rush.